Alrighty, Wilfredo. Well, it has been a lovely. We briefly chatted off the video recording here, Wilfredo. Now, I want to go ahead and kickstart this interview itself. I have your resume pulled up here, so I'll kind of go ahead and start off the interview by highlighting a few key titles that you have on your resume, and I'll go ahead and give you the mic. So Wilfredo has worked as a purchasing agent for about a year previously at Soretta Construction. He's worked as a project and material specialist. Again, he's worked at custom metal designs as a purchasing specialist. So he has, I would say, well over about, is it how many years or so? About 10 years or so of experience in purchasing,
Yeah,
Wilfredo?
at least a decade, yes.
Yeah. So you have those transferable skills that my client is seeking. You worked in a few different industries as well, manufacturing. I see here. You worked at the casino as a purchasing agent, as well as the construction industry. So Wilfredo, I'll stop rambling on about your professional experience. I would love for you to take over and tell me a little bit about your experience, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, so the past decade, I've been concentrating in a purchasing / procurement role in different industries, being in charge of purchasing a variety of items from raw materials for manufacturing lines to office and cleaning products for all these companies, including a casino, which also had restaurants on their facilities. So I was also dealing with food and beverage items, and including for a security systems company in New York called Peace of Mind Technologies. That was security systems. So I was purchasing all kinds of equipment, cameras, access control, cable, and they also had a connection with construction sites. So I was dealing with project managers, and that was a common theme with some of these companies, including the last one I was at, Soretta.
Lovely. Now, I would love to know, you've been able to purchase a few different products or services or materials. What type of products were you able to handle in your previous roles?
The last one with construction was materials for the construction sites, lumber, the adhesives, nails and tools for building, basically tilt wall, basically the walls of the whole sides of the buildings, and materials having to do with concrete.
All right, perfect. So that was in the construction or the previous role. How about the other roles? I know you mentioned you worked with a casino, with beverages, but what are some additional products that you worked with in that end?
My first purchasing role was with a manufacturing company that did plastics.
Okay.
So they would produce parts made of a different variety of plastics. So I was ordering the raw material, which would come in big sheets or rods.
Okay.
So it was a various quantity. And with these, they would put them in their machines and cut and create all kinds of parts for like aviation companies, for example.
Oh, that's really neat. All right. Well, that sounds perfect. Gives me more of a clear idea as far as what type of materials you're working with purchasing. I would love to know how did you evaluate and select your suppliers?
Usually when I came on board, they already had a group of vendors that they work with. And I would get to know them and forge relationships with them, because the standard practice would be to get as many quotes as I can from these vendors and then make a determination of who I was going to buy from. So it was forging these relationships where, negotiating, trying to come with the best price, the best deals. And these vendors would often, a lot of them would come and visit. And, they want to get your business, so they would come with deals, take you out to lunch, and all kinds of things. So there was that, relationships.
Yeah, and I'm happy that you touched base on that, because my next question was, what was your approach with maintaining strong relationship with your suppliers? You mentioned your lunch, just creating those long-lasting relationships. So that in itself is amazing. How were you able to balance the cost or balance cost savings with quality and delivery time? I'm sure you had to tackle all of that as well.
Yeah, we use a variety of tools. Half the time it was like a basic spreadsheet, a cost saving sheet where I'd have to input information and compare it against a base price that we're trying to meet or beat, and looking at doing those comparisons that would help us make the decisions. Half the
Absolutely.
time it was half the time it could be my decision, other times it would involve managers above me that wanted to get involved, or if it was above a certain dollar amount, sometimes I'd have to get approval,
Mhm.
an actual signed approval from an upper management person.
That's right. Now you mentioned the tools such as Excel. What's a soft? Do you happen to know like a software system that you have utilized in the past for recruitment?
Quite a variety. The past couple of years have been Sage, SAP, Coupa, another one called Tiger Paw, SWS, a whole variety. I mean, pretty much when I've gone to another company, the fact that they used the same exact was very rare. There was always a learning curve. Okay, we use this, and they would teach me it, but yeah, a lot of them, these systems were the basis where I could create an actual purchase order from it to
Absolutely.
send to the vendors.
All right. Well, that sounds lovely. Now, I would love to know, how do you stay up to date with market trends or changes in supply and demand?
Usually, basic internet research, look at the broad spectrum, or I'd research an item and see what's it actually going for by all the vendors, and get an idea from that.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for that, Wilfredo. Now, I would love to know, as far as a new role or a new opportunity, what do you look forward to the most out of your next role?
Um, I'd like somewhere to be for more of a long term, somewhere to even until the retirement time or something. It'd be nice to be somewhere for quite a while.
Absolutely. Well,
Stability.
yep, stability as well. Yeah. All righty, Wilfredo. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and conclude the actual interview now. I'm gonna stop the recording, but don't hang up on me quite yet. I want to continue chatting with you, but I do appreciate your time this morning.
All right.